Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Hooked on a Feeling podcast, episode 2. Let's go. We're back.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
Yeah, bro.
We are back with Marky Mark over here,
That's
Davey
me.
Dave over there,
What's up?
and Jude over here.
Yeah, boy.
You know how it is. We
Yep.
do want to just give a disclaimer and apologize for taking so long to put out another episode to
There
you
were
guys.
technical difficulties involved.
Yeah,
It's
what
quite
what
unfortunate.
what actually happened is we went on a sail, but there was this one tide current that just like swept us.
Boat just crashed on the rocks, had to rebuild it from scratch.
Yeah.
You know how it
But
is.
you know, now we're experienced.
Yeah.
Now experience.
So we're coming back to answer your questions.
With-
Thank you, everybody, for sending in your questions about fishing. We're excited to get into it.
Evil.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we get our first question, Matthew?
Yeah.
How do you tell when you're ready to fish?
I mean, as soon as you are able to get on a boat, even if it is with someone, as soon as you are able to get on the boat and be at sea, be able to handle yourself in the ocean, and then you can try and start casting your reels and try to
Yeah.
see, what happens.
Trial and error is fine. But yeah, preferably, actually, when you first get on with someone who's a bit more experienced.
Yeah.
Because then if you're really unready, they'll be able to tell a lot faster than you are.
Yeah.
And often, you just got to practice first on the shore.
Yeah.
Like on the banks of rivers and stuff. Sometimes you're not ready to be in a boat yet. And you just have to, refine your technique before you're actually ready to go on a boat and start going for, the fish that you're really wanting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can always then graduate to waders, get a little bit deeper into the water, but you really do want to make that step to put yourself out on the water, because then you're meeting the fish halfway. Because then once you're on the water and you're meeting the fish halfway, then the fish know they can come to meet you halfway. Whereas if you're just on the bank, a fish has to come all the way to where it's frankly quite dangerous for a fish to be.
Which is not what fish do,
That's true.
by the way. So don't expect to get any fish waiting on the shore. That's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How it
it
works.
might leave them stranded. They just don't like it.
So at the end of the day, only go out into the water if you're feeling confident and comfortable, right? Sometimes you'll have to go out a few times with people that are more experienced with you before you're ready to, sail the open oceans by yourself to
Yeah, bro.
look for your perfect catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Great.
Yeah, bro.
Whoever that was. Can we have the next question?
Yes.
Let's go.
How do you spot a toxic fish?
Toxic fish.
Right.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Because you can get a toxic fish in a toxic environment, or you can get a toxic fish
In a good
in a good
environment.
environment.
Yeah.
Okay, first things first. Don't fish in swamps.
Oh yeah. Never fish in the swamp.
Because that's where you find your catfish,
Alligators.
alligators.
Just things you don't actually want
Crawdads.
on your boat.
Yeah, things that can do damage. Like
They'll hurt you.
Damage.
Yeah.
Hurt your boat.
Hurt your boat. Even frogs are in there. You don't want a frog, buddy.
No.
You want a fish, a good fish. Yeah, so I think first things first, know your environment.
Know where
that's,
you're fishing.
Yeah, know where you're fishing, okay? So I'm guessing you don't want to catfish. You want the actual good fish. Good fish, by the way, are found in the sea, in ponds,
And good lakes.
in good lakes.
But yeah, swamp
Good
fishing
rivers.
is dodgy.
Swamp fishing is dodgy. Yeah, you might be lucky. I don't know what kind of fish you find there.
And a lot of times, you can really tell when a fish is toxic just by looking at it. Because if it's got some quills, it's probably going to prick you. If it's got big sharp teeth, it's probably going to bite you. If you really are an advanced fisherman, you can tell by the colors. Like some fish have really bright shiny colors, which can be pretty, but then they actually mean that they're toxic.
Yeah, 100%. And so the thing about not fishing in a swamp is that you're not able to identify that from your boat easily. So if you're going into the swamp, it's like murky, muddy waters, and you don't know what you're gonna get.
You don't
so
know.
it's more likely than not that you're gonna catch something that you probably don't want.
Yeah, it's like gambling.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna happen. but you just press that button and that wheel. The wheel just starts spinning. You don't know what you're gonna get.
House always wins.
Yeah.
The
Swamp always
house,
wins.
the swamp always wins.
So I mean, it's also important to kind of like research what type of fish you're actually going for.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
want to know what you're aiming for. Are you fishing for tuna specifically? You want that type of fish. In which case, there's specific spots you can go to get that type of fish. Otherwise, you're just you're casting out with nothing in mind. Then
It's not
you
wise.
get what you get.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah,
Yeah, blind fishing rarely goes very well.
that's true.
It is what it is, buddy. Don't fish in swamps unless you want swamp fish.
And know the type of fish that you're actually going for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Facts.
If you're an inexperienced fisherman, like we've already talked about, that's why you practice your technique and you do it from the bank initially. Because that way you can just see the fish, catch it and release it without bringing it onto your boat.
Yeah.
because you
Right?
don't
Because
have.
then that's a commitment. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Yeah.
Cool.
Never.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have a very special guest.
Very
here
special
today.
guest.
We are honored to have Phyllis, Phyllis the fish, asking our fish-related questions from the fisher's perspective. So, Phyllis, without further ado, would you
Yeah.
mind asking us one fish question from a fisher's perspective, please?
How do you know what type of fish a fisherman is aiming for?
I mean, from first glance at this, or first thought of this question, you've got to be able to determine whether this is actually an experienced fisherman you're dealing with
Yes.
or not. This will generally be by the size of his boat. Okay? Whether he's like really well equipped to fish, whether he's just got the basic things at the moment and just cast. You can also see if he's casting out randomly, you know. So identify the type of fisherman you're dealing with first, I would say, and see whether he's consistent and coming to a very specific spot.
Yeah.
And by that you can know by the fish that are around you. If he's just staying this spot by the fish that are around you, you know that he's going for the type of fish that are around.
Yeah.
But look. If the hook is in biting reach, it's probably you. It's
That's fair.
Yeah.
at that point it's not about what kind of no. It's either you choose to bite or you don't. You know.
And you also look at the type of bait he's using. Because
That's
if he's
true.
using bait that's for an entirely different type of fish than you, either he's very inexperienced and is just doing the wrong thing, or he's going for something else.
So if he like uses bread, you know,
Then he's fishing for nobody.
or maybe
He's fishing for ducks.
someone, you know, okay, listen.
the quack.
Okay, listen, you know, guys, look, I got you. Look, okay, inexperienced fisherman, don't worry, I got you. Look, okay, fish, listen, just hear me out.
Okay.
Sometimes your fisherman might have gotten very bad advice from this other fisherman and told him to use this kind of bait. And he could be, you know, innocently trying to fish with bread. It's not tasty, but you know.
It doesn't mean you have to bite onto it though. Wait for him to realize that he's not gonna get anything and change his bait. Because
Yeah.
sometimes that's the best thing you can do for a fisherman, is not bite onto the random bait that he's throwing into the water.
Yes.
But you might not know what kind of fisherman you're missing out on as well. So it's
But
up
at
to
the
you.
same time,
Yeah.
if he's so inexperienced, even if he is the fisherman you're looking for, you might still want to wait a bit before he becomes the fisherman that you deserve.
Yeah. This is where it also comes down to being an experienced fish as well. Being able to spot what a fisherman is doing on the boat and then figuring out what's happening, you know, behind his eyes, and then like decide, okay, should I bite on? Should I make myself visible? Should I flash my scales? Should I, you know, go find another fisherman? that's stuff that you have to sit there in the water and think about before you just bite onto something randomly.
And sometimes you even have to just change your whole environment, like you were saying. It's up to you sometimes where you swim in the ocean, whether you go upstream, you know.
Yeah.
Great. We have just enough time for one more question, I think. Matthew, can we get then? Actually, no. This looks like
This is a Phyllis
this
question.
is a Phyllis question. Phyllis, would you mind asking us this next question?
I'm a saltwater fish looking for a freshwater fisherman. Yeah.
Look, sometimes you don't have to be too picky. Anyways, if you're a saltwater fish looking for a freshwater fisherman, it means you should be in salt water to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
No.
No,
If you're a saltwater fish.
you should be in salt water so
Yeah.
that the fisherman he's obviously gonna come to the salt water knowing that saltwater fish is inside the salt water.
You know what I think? I agree with you that way. Like, stay in the environment that you're comfortable with. But there are some areas, like an estuary, right?
Like what?
Where an estuary, you know, it's where a river leads into the ocean, right? So it's like kind of half salt water, half fresh water. It's where the two meet, right? Try to put as much as you're comfortable in your salt water, sometimes you have to, you know, put yourself out there a bit. You gotta get a bit out of your comfort zone.
That's real.
That's real talk. Sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone to find the fisherman that you're looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like we mentioned earlier, it's all about meeting halfway. The fisherman's already on his boat.
Yeah.
And if he's a freshwater fisherman and he's in an estuary, that means he's getting pretty close to the saltwater. So,
Sometimes you have to make the effort.
yeah, just like you said, as much as you're comfortable, make that extra effort. Real talk.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Phyllis. Really appreciate that last question. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
We will see.
Let's start that.
We will see you. Okay, that didn't flow very nicely. So
All right, thank you very much, Phyllis, and everybody that sent in your questions. That's it for this episode. Check you guys on the next one. We will
See.
What are you doing?
we will catch you later. That's good. That's
Finn.
good.